What's going on, guys? You're watching The Hungry Handgunner. I'm Nick, and today I'm going there. So I want to preface this by saying I have 280 something, 290 videos on YouTube. Not to brag, but I have a lot of videos. And to my knowledge, I have stayed away from politics the overwhelming majority of the time. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I'm not going to tell you who I'm voting for. That's insulting to me. I may be one of the last people left on earth that doesn't somehow tie my identity in with how I cast my ballot, nor do I think that your identity and worth as a person is tied to how you cast your ballot. We're given increasingly crappy choices every 4 years, in my opinion, and if you vote for either one of those because you feel like that most closely reflects your own priorities and values, then that's on you. That's between you and your conscience, and however you vote, you're the one that has to look yourself in the mirror. So that is what it is. Let's just get that out of the way. So unless you are a personal friend of mine on Facebook, you probably have zero clue how I feel politically across the board. So any assumptions that you have, check those at the door. This is not going to be a bash on the libtards and Trump supporters are all stupid. This is not what this is about. I think that we all need to be cognizant of the fact that both of the big ticket candidates, Democrat, Republican, Biden, and Trump, I'll say their names, though as much as it may pain me, neither one of them have virtually anything in common with you and I. If they do, then you have also lived off the government for 47 years, or you are also born with somewhat of a silver spoon, at least sterling silver, in your mouth. So there is that. Neither one of them, as it stands today, if something happens at their house, are expected to go see what that noise was. Neither one of them are expected to deal with a violent threat on their life. I would go so far as to say that neither one of them have ever been in that situation where they alone are accountable for their family's safety, right? You have one guy that's, again, had lots of money his whole life. Another guy that has lived off the government teat for damn near half a century and afforded all the security and things like that that go with it. So, when it comes to Second Amendment issues, I want you to remember that neither one of them have a vested interest in the outcome of their decision. Neither one of them are expected to go figure out what that noise was, deal with the problem if it gets in their home. Neither one of them are likely to have to potentially lay their life down for their wife, their kids, whatever. And again, I'm sure this is going to make people mad, and that's why I don't do politics, because it's very divisive. You guys should just be very grateful I don't go into religion, because I'd probably piss everybody off. So there is that. I, for myself, have a great deal of scorn for anybody that wants to legislate based on something that they have. It's not going to impact them. It's scorn, disdain, repugnance, whatever word you want to use that just reflects this, just not taking them seriously, not lack of respect, whatever. Maybe that's a problem with authority. I don't know. Talk to my therapist about that. Anyway, be very, very careful with how invested you get into this election, because I can assure you, neither one of those two are ever going to know your name. I see a lot of hate, hostility, and whatnot all over the internet. I hear about it from people severing their friendships, their familial relationships because of this election. And this one in particular seems to be kind of nasty. Now, keep in mind, I'm 30 years old. I haven't been through a whole lot of these, but I don't remember it being this bad before. I would urge everybody to take a step back, stop identifying by who you vote for. stop determining people's worth by who they vote for. The ultimate issue here is that the American people as a whole don't feel represented. I would absolutely throw that out there, and if you challenge that, that's fine. We all have different experiences, different social circles, different interactions and conversations with people. So there is that. I would say that most people are not represented, or at least don't feel like they are, or might feel like they are, but you may not feel like they are, vice versa. It's a very divisive time in American politics. Sadly, my own weatherman prediction, doesn't matter if I'm right or wrong, I don't think it's going to get better. I think that people have become so invested in this process, so invested in these candidates, that it's just going to get worse. And I hate to say that. This isn't me trying to instill fear. This isn't me trying to sway people to my side of the argument by fear. I really don't care if you believe that or not. And I would urge you to not panic. I do think that there is coming a time where things may potentially get violent on a big scale. And that's not something I look forward to. That's not something that I think any rational person that has looked at all the aspects of something like that occurring, I don't think that's something they would look forward to. But I don't see us going back to how things were, at least when I was growing up. And I realized that part of that might have been like a, revisionist history in my mind, thinking things were better than they were, whatever. I don't remember people being this at each other's throats. Because of how I was raised, it's improper to point out a problem without offering some sort of solution. So in that, the solution that I'm going to offer everybody is talk to people respectfully. Find out if you're dead set on having that political conversation. Talk to people. Listen to understand, not just to reply. Find out what they may have experienced that led them to hold the positions they have. The world's a big place. The country's a big place. Each state is got different things going on. Even here in Georgia, where I live, the way of life is one way. Somebody that grows up in Buckhead or down near College Park is a completely different way of life, completely different setting, and completely different concerns on a day-to-day basis in a lot of ways. So sometimes we are products of our environment, and your experience is no more or less valid than somebody else's. So figure out why they feel the way they do. Try to understand, have some empathy. This is a gun channel, so my own stance on the Second Amendment may not necessarily mesh with somebody who witnessed a family member being killed with a gun, or may not mesh with somebody that has never needed a gun or doesn't understand guns. So does that make my opinion on the Second Amendment any less valid? No. Does that make theirs less valid? No. It might be misguided. Mine might be misguided. But through having a respectful conversation about an issue, coming at it from your way, and no minds may be changed. I think that's important too. You may not change their mind. They may not change your mind. That's fine. At least you will have gained some understanding of why that person feels that way. I think we need to quit looking at people with labels like Democrat, Republican, libtard, conservatard, all the ards out there that people throw on other people. I think we need to drop those labels and get back to realizing that we're all human beings, right? We all have one life, I think. I don't have all the answers. So we all have this one life. At the end of the day, we want to live that life the best way possible. We want to know that we're safe. We want to know that we have opportunities to advance, that our kids are coming into a world better than we inherited. I think those are all universal truths to some extent. So remember that when you're talking to somebody who may vote down a different column than you, or whether all the way or just on some issues. So I hate to see people so divided and so just ugly with each other. So yeah, a little touchy-feely there for a second, but just be nice. I think the entire world could do a little bit more nice. And yeah, that's going to be about it. So regardless of which way things go in November, the root issues are still the same. We have representatives that are not representative of the average person out here. Our own concerns, our own responsibilities are not shared by those that are supposed to represent us. That's not just going to go away. You can't expect the ruling class to vote against their own best interests when they are making the rules. So do with that what you will. This isn't something that's going to be solved November 3rd. This isn't going to be something that's solved really by ballots, in my opinion. And this is not a call to violence. YouTube, if you're watching this is just a philosophical reflection. So yeah, don't demonetize me again. That's not cool. But just ponder on that. If you have thoughts, I'm sure people have thoughts. Put them in the comments. Be nice. You never know what the person replying to you or that you were replying to has seen, done, heard, been through, whatever, and vice versa. You know, we all have our own experiences. Some of them are similar, some of them are different. So, yeah, be nice and train. Always train. I mean, this world isn't magically just gonna get better. So, work on that self-defense training regimen you have, hopefully. Also, work on your own mental health. Unplug from the news, Facebook, whatever you need to. Or just be like me and get a really dark sense of humor and make a bunch of memes. Either way, do what you need to do to get through this. It's not worth your sanity. It's not worth your family. It's not worth your friendships. I see people giving up all sorts of stuff over two guys that are never going to know their name. So, yeah, there's that. All right, guys. Peace out.